Morning everyone. I am one of the reporters of Group 5 with the topic of Cognitive Theory of Moral Development and Module 9. Before I will start, I will discuss first what is the cognitive theory of moral development. The cognitive theory of moral development, it is talk about the how person reasons about ethical situations. Introductions. Lawrence Kohlberg opens that the child cognitive capabilities determine the growth of moral reasoning. Further, moral development builds on concept acquired in various stages, such that the attainment in each stage becomes a product of the previous stages. Kumbaga, si Lawrence Kohlberg, the person who choose that the children thinking abilities refers to the growth of his moral reasoning. And Lawrence Kohlberg was a person who interested in how people learn to decide what is good or what is right and what is wrong. Kohlberg's cognitive theory of moral development. In this theory, Kohlberg's experiment by interviewing boys 16 to 10 years old, and they will present the moral dilemmas, they were present the which is to respect and follow the authority, obey the rules, or ignore the rules, and respond to the needs of welfare of other people. Sa theory na yon ay nag-interview si Kohlberg's just interviewing the boys 10 to 16 years old. And sa theory na yon, napagpasyahan niyang kung igagalang or susundin ang mga patakaran or huwag pansinin ang patakaran. Yun yung sa cognitive theory of moral development. Below is representative story presented to Kohlberg's young participant. The husband Hines needs a particular expensive drug for his dying wife. However, the pharmacist who has controlled and discovered of the supply of drugs refuses to give him the drug, for the money he has now is not enough. Then the husband of his dying wife has give promise to pay the rest later. Husband now decide whether to steal or not steal the drug to save his wife. That is whether to obey the rules and laws of society or to violate them to respond to needs of his wife. Husband now decide on what options to take. Whatever option he takes will depend on his moral values. The first stage of moral development, which is the obedience and punishment orientations. To avoid punishment, the child defers to prestigious or powerful people, usually the parents. The morality of an act defined by its physical consequence. First stage of moral development, the child desire to obey the rules and avoid being punished. Halimbawa ng stage na ito, or this first stage is a child refusing to do something because it is wrong and that the consequences could result in punishment. And yun yung example ng stage 1, which is the obedience and punishment orientations. The second stage is naive, hedonistic, and instrumental orientations. The child confirms to gain rewards. The child understands is reciprocity and sharing, but this reciprocity is manipulative and self-serving rather than based on a true sense of justice. Generosity, sympathy, or compassion it is a kind of bartering. For example, I will lend you my bike if I can play with your wagon. The second example is I will do my homework now if I can watch the late night movie. Stage is naive, hedonistic, and instrumental temptations. Kumbaga sa stage na ito, the child began to make their own moral decisions or the child confirms to gain rewards. Halimbawa, ay kumbaga sa stage na ito, yung bata ay nagsisimulang gumawa ng kanilang sariling desisyon sa buhay. Or sa stage na ito, hayaan ka ng isang bata na gawin kung ano yung gusto mo sa kanya or hiramin sa kanya, pero may kapalit or may makukuha siyang gantimpala. Halimbawa, you can play with my blocks if you let me play with your cars. Parang ganun. Kung mahiramin ka sa kanya, hiram ka sa kanya ng bike, then pahiramin ka niya, pero mahiramin din siyang, as long as papayagan mo siyang hiramin niya yung phone mo or whatsoever na bagay na gusto niyang hiramin din sa'yo. Yun yung pahiwatig or halimbawa ng stage 2. Third stage of moral development is the good boy morality. The child behavior is designed to maintain approval and good relations with others. Although the child is still basing judgment right and wrong on others' responses, he is concerned with their approval and disapproval rather than their physical power. It is maintained goodwill that he confirms to families and friends standards. However, the child is starting to accept other social regulations. Third stage of moral development, which is the good boy morality, is focused on living up to social expectations and rules. There is an emphasis on conformity and being nice considerations of how choices influence. For example, of being good boy morality. A student stays after school to clean all the chalkboards for the teachers. And that is the example of stage 3, which is the good boy morality for being a good and nice person.